Hi there, my name is Rob and I mainly do videos about health and nutrition. Today I want to talk to you about your intestinal flora. Your intestinal flora, or microbiome as it's sometimes called, refers to the bacteria that lines your large intestine or colon. These bacteria number in the millions and they play a pivotal role in your health. Without a healthy intestinal flora, you simply can't have good health. When I was a kid, I would get sick and very frequently, and whenever I got a bacterial infection, my doctor would always prescribe me antibiotics, usually amoxicillin, which is a brand name for penicillin. Now, don't get me wrong, the discovery of penicillin was an amazing medical discovery, and usually after taking penicillin, my bacterial infection would go away, so taking penicillin definitely works. But here at my channel, we're all about prevention and preventing health problems from happening in the first place. And I'm all about preventing and catching bacterial and viral infections in the first place. So while penicillin definitely works, what happens with penicillin is that penicillin actually kills off the bacteria in your colon. It would be like bombing a whole country just to kill one terrorist. That's the best analogy I can think of. You have 300 to 500 different species of bacteria in your intestinal tract that is responsible for keeping you healthy, and then you also have this one virus or bacteria that is making you sick. And taking penicillin kills all the bacteria in your body, both good and bad. In my previous videos, I outlined my journey from sickness to health, and one of the things I talk about is going to a naturopathic physician when I was 17 years old. I actually credit this doctor for helping me rid myself of most of my health issues, as without his guidance, I would not really enjoy the really good health I enjoy today. His name was Dr. John Matson, and his practice was located in North Vancouver, here in the Vancouver area, where I'm from. He's now retired, but he had written a book called Eating Alive, which I read cover to cover. I read this book inside and out, and in the book he said that one of the biggest downward spirals in your health comes when you take antibiotics. This is because the antibiotics wipe out your friendly intestinal bacteria, which are responsible for keeping you healthy. So the bacteria that grow back right away are anything but friendly. So Dr. Matson, in his book Eating Alive, explained that what generally grows back right away is intestinal yeast. Intestinal yeast spew out their waste products into your colon, and these end up traveling through your bloodstream and end up irritating all the cells in your body. He went on further to explain that the taking of antibiotics is really where the downward spiral into bad health really begins. The more you take antibiotics for every bacterial or viral infection, the worse and worse your health gets. I can tell you firsthand that I took a round of amoxicillin every time I had a bacterial infection, and my health deteriorated and got worse and worse to the point where I had a big splotch of eczema on my shoulder, another one on my forearm, seasonal allergies such as hay fever, runny nose, itchy eyes, food allergies that cause an itching sensation in my mouth, allergies to cats and dogs, chronic coughs and colds, and was just generally in a state of sickness lots of times. Not only did I eat lots of junk food, but when I got sick, I would take antibiotics, and this compounded the problem, as antibiotics wipe out your friendly bacteria and create an environment where unfriendly bacteria start to repopulate your colon. So for the yeast, Dr. Matson used to give yeast killers to kill off all the intestinal yeast, and advised me not to eat anything that had yeast in it while this process was going on. So I couldn't have any bread that made with yeast until this process was complete. While taking the yeast killers, I also had to take Acidophilus bacteria that he gave us in a capsule. But this is the bacteria that is found in yogurt. So if you eat yogurt, you also get this bacteria, and it can help repopulate your colon with friendly bacteria. Getting your intestinal flora in order is really important for having good health, and you really can't have good health without having a good microbiome. The microbiome is also part of your immune system, and having a healthy microbiome, or an intestinal flora as it's also called, can help protect you from invading bacteria or viruses. The microbiome has been connected to several health conditions, including depression and anxiety, cystic fibrosis, impaired immune function, including autoimmune diseases such as Crohn's disease and colitis, also obesity, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, autism, epilepsy, allergies, digestive disorders, even lung diseases such as asthma and respiratory tract infections, as well as eczema, insomnia, fluctuating weight changes, food allergies, and many more. So it's vitally important to have a good microbiome. So on top of taking the yeast killers and the Acidophilus bacteria, which can usually be purchased in a health food store or at a naturopath's office, there are other things you need to do to help your friendly bacteria thrive. So if you have watched my previous videos, you may know some of these. because these tips are essential for good health generally. But essentially, the first one is that you have to really cut out processed foods. Processed foods such as white sugar and white flour really play havoc with your immune system and make it much more likely that you will have to take antibiotics in the first place. And bad bacteria such as Candida yeast also feed on white sugar, so it's very important to avoid both white sugar and white flour. As well, low quality fats like trans fats and others also create less biodiversity in your microbiome, which causes them to be less effective at providing good health. Getting enough vitamin D is also really important for your intestinal flora, as vitamin D causes your gut bacteria to create B vitamins. These B vitamins are actually really good for sleep, and good sleep actually helps your intestinal flora even more. So in order to get enough vitamin D, it is important to get enough sunshine in the summer months. And in the winter months, you should take vitamin D supplements. Your body can easily handle about 4,000 international units of vitamin D per day without any toxicity. So we've already discussed that antibiotics kill your gut bacteria, but it's also important to avoid any meat where the animal was fed antibiotics, as this can kill your gut bacteria also. In addition, it's very important to eat your food as organic and non-GMO as possible, because glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup weed killer, the pesticide that is sprayed on a lot of our crops, and especially on GMO crops, also kills off our intestinal bacteria. Glyphosate was originally patented as an antibiotic, not a pesticide, so that should tell you a lot. So conventional fruits and vegetables most likely will have glyphosate sprayed on them, and especially GMO food. So it's important to make sure it's non-GMO. Normally, if food is grown organically, this signifies that it's non-GMO also. Certain pharmaceutical drugs, such as ibuprofen, are extremely harmful to your intestinal flora as well, and also to the lining of your colon. So it's important to avoid these as much as possible. As well, artificial sweeteners are also really bad for your microbiome as well, and should also be avoided. They also have all kinds of other negative health effects also, as they are made from petrochemicals. And so anything made from petroleum is unsafe to eat. It's also very important to eat foods with a lot of fiber in them, such as raw vegetables. The fiber in vegetables helps to feed the good bacteria in your colon also, so it's important to eat lots of fresh, raw, uncooked organic vegetables. It's also important to eat a wide variety of vegetables as well. This creates more diversity in your intestinal flora, and the greater the diversity of your intestinal flora, the stronger your immune system will be. Another thing that is really important for gut bacteria diversity is waiting until you are hungry before you eat. Waiting until you are hungry until you eat has a lot of different benefits, including allowing your body to clean out metabolic debris in your system. But it also increases the diversity of bacteria in your gut and the strength of these bacteria as well, which helps your immune system immensely, since your gut bacteria comprise a large portion of your immune system. So too frequent eating doesn't allow you to get hungry before you eat, so this is also not good for your intestinal flora. Drinking alcohol also decreases the diversity of your microbiome. Alcohol is an extremely harmful substance and destroys your body and your immune system in a million different ways. So there's so many reasons to avoid it, but one of them is that alcohol decreases the diversity of your microbiome. As well, getting plenty of sleep helps to improve gut health also. Studies show that sleep quality affects microbiome diversity, and having a good microbiome in turn affects sleep quality. So getting enough sleep every night is very important for your intestinal flora, and this in turn affects your immune system. It's also good to eat foods that are high in polyphenols. Polyphenols are plant compounds that have many health benefits, including reductions in blood pressure, inflammation, cholesterol levels, and oxidative stress. Human cells can't always digest polyphenols. Because they aren't absorbed efficiently, most polyphenols make their way to the colon, where they are digested by gut bacteria. Some foods high in polyphenols include grapes, almonds, onions, blueberries, and broccoli. Having a strong and healthy intestinal flora can help to protect you against COVID and other bacterial and viral infections. Studies have shown that disorders of the intestinal flora were related to lung diseases and respiratory tract infections. In studies done on mice, the depletion of intestinal bacteria after taking the antibiotic neomycin increased the susceptibility of the mice to catching the flu virus. Also, a recent study reported that the amount of gut bacteria increased to enhance the host's resistance to the flu when a lethal flu infection occurred, meaning that when you catch the flu, the amount of good bacteria in your colon goes up. The intestinal flora has metabolites such as short-chain fatty acids and lipopolysaccharides, which are part of the mucosal barrier that line the large intestine. This mucosal immune barrier provides protection against thousands of microorganisms and helps your immune system greatly. If your intestinal mucosal immune barrier is disrupted, invading organisms are able to enter the blood or lungs, and this could result in bacterial and viral infections such as COVID, the flu, and other ones. People who have cancer tend to have higher levels of disease-causing bacteria in their microbiome, and people who have arthritis have been shown to have higher levels of inflammation-causing bacteria in their microbiome as well. Your gut bacteria feed on dead cells that your body gets rid of that get replaced by new cells, as well as fiber in vegetables and polyphenols in fruits, vegetables, and nuts. And the more diverse your diet, excluding all junk food of course, the more diverse your microbiome will be, and the stronger your immune system will be, and the easier it will be to fend off bacterial and viral infections and other diseases as well. Well, that's all I have for today. If you liked the video, please click like and subscribe to my channel. In the comment section below, please ask any questions you may have about the microbiome or any questions you may have about health generally. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.